It's the Lakers, and they're doing business on the road. It's an interconference NBA matchup. You're in for a treat as we bring you NBA basketball on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan to call the game with our analysts Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. We'll take a look at the 76ers. Still early in the season, but the front office and coaching staff likes what they're seeing from this team so far. Better winning percentage than last year.
And seeing where the 76ers are, nobody was calling on them to kind of set the world on fire. But even those modest expectations have yet to be realized.
Yeah, you know, Greg, it's been a shame for their fan base, too, because they haven't really had much to be optimistic about to this point.
Now let's check out our starters for the Los Angeles Lakers. They've got Julius Randle, also Roy Hibbert out there. Jordan Clarkson is out there with Young, and it's Huertas in at the 1. Here's Covington. Kicks it out to Iverson. Uses the glass to drop it in.
And how about that? Just an easy way to get on the board.
And just like that, Greg, the first lead belongs to them.
Well, the city of Philadelphia has had some tough fans. There's no doubt. You know, we've seen them boo Santa Claus. You can imagine, Greg, how they felt about this Sixers team a year ago.
You know, the Sixers were going to be in trouble from the very start of the year. A lot of fans didn't even bother to show up to boo. I mean, Philly had the worst attendance in the league last season.
But they've got hope, Greg.
A lot of young talent. Maybe this is the year it starts to materialize.
Philadelphia on D. They come into this one following the loss to the Grizzlies.
And you don't have to go too deep into the box score to figure out why they lost that when they just had an inability on that day to make shots.
You know, sometimes we talk about a defense getting into the heads of the opposing players, Greg, but that night they got up in their own heads, just got in their own way and couldn't get out of it.
Okafor, high post. There's a screen by Noel. Here's Iverson. The second chance effort. And that's out of bounds. Philadelphia will retain possession. And in the first, a little over a minute and a half in. Pass to Noel. Here's Covington. And no good, trying to use the glass.
The defense needs to play tight on him, and that's exactly what they did to force that miss. Well done.
Young with no one around. They grab their own miss, and Randle throws it down.
And, you know, it's one thing to get the offensive rebound, but then how about the loud bucket he's able to convert?
He was in perfect position under the hoop, Greg. You're right, once he gets his hands on the miss.
That's exactly why it's important to work hard on the offensive glass, fellas, for chances just like that.
And Philadelphia has possession after the basket by the Lakers. Young's shot is off. For Philadelphia, they've gone 2 of 6 from the field. Iverson outside. Feeds it to Covington. The 3. The rebound by Young.
He's going to play his way right onto the bench and out of the game if he continues to shoot it like he has so far in this quarter.
And the defense out of position on that possession, which allowed for him to get that offensive board.
Well said. Yes, he did. You're right, Greg. That's a tremendous jam on the putback.
What a great nose for the basketball he has, and such a strong finisher as well.
Now, here's Clarkson. Taking a look at his numbers, he averages about 7 points a game. 5 on the clock. Picked by Randle. Pulls up on the wing. Good.
Boy, that was a rugged screen set there, fellas, and the defense didn't even try to go through that one.
The 76ers leading by 3. Picked by Okafor. Passes it to Cannon. Noel against Randle. From deep, Iverson. Rebound the Lakers. And guys, this is the first they're seeing of the 76ers this year.
And one of the few bright spots of their last season was sweeping the season series in this matchup.
Yeah, for sure. Neither team a big-time contender in their respective conferences, Greg, but when the teams are fairly evenly matched, it can still be entertaining basketball.
And here in the first quarter, with a little over 3.5 minutes played, Clarkson passes to Huertas. Picked by Randall. Here's Huertas. 5 on the clock. From deep three-point range, that's good. 5 points in the game.
He can be a weapon if he gets going early from long range.
Iverson dishes to Okafor. 8 feet away. Shot is off. Great D that time from Hibbert. Los Angeles has gone 1 of 2 from long range in the first quarter. That puts them in the lead.
Just the height separation on that mid-range jumper. Excellent job of taking advantage. And guys, it looked like Nick Young had finally put it all together. I mean, he had a huge campaign 2 years ago, signs a new 4-year deal. Then last year, disaster strikes. I mean, he provided very little to the team outside of shooting the basketball. And even with that, he dropped to a career worst, 37% from the field.
Well, Greg, getting back to Young, it's tough to completely judge him on last year's numbers because he was fighting through knee injuries, ankle injuries, all kinds of things. Clark only played 42 games.
Yeah, but when he's right, he can light it up. I mean, he's a go-to scorer, but he just never got right last season.
Now, here's Clarkson. Okafor grabs the miss.
And if the shot's not there, you've got to understand that. Move the basketball.
Yeah, exactly, and I'm not quite sure what his mindset or what he was thinking there. I mean, that was just a terrible shot.
There's a good screen. Iverson, the pick gave him all the room he needed, and he knocks down the J.
You can't afford to give him that kind of a look.
Well, you know, he came off a good screen, but still, as a defender, you've got to do a better job of fighting over and through that.
Now here's Randall. He had an 18-point outing in their last game against Indiana.
And also, his assist total tells you about the job he did of keeping his head up and keeping his teammates involved.
Here's Iverson. There's a screen by Noel. To the inside. He kicks to Cannon. He dishes it to Iverson. The 8-footer. That misses off the backboard. For Los Angeles, they've gone 4 for 9 from the field to start this game off. Hibbert with the screen. To the paint. And he dunks it down.
Flying high and throwing down the hard one-hander.
One of his favorite moves right there, guys.
And really, he does that one as well as anyone. Kev, you're right. That's like his signature move once he goes airborne.
And the 76ers with a completely new group now. And Los Angeles will go for a different look here. Dishes it to Roten. Grant against Bass. The feed to Roten. And he can't bank that one in. For Los Angeles, they've gotten 5 of 10 shots to drop in this game so far. Right at the 50% mark. Now we get a chance to check out the standings out west. Already we're in December. You take a look at the Warriors. They've got the #1 record in the conference, and because of it, each night out, their competition is going to bring it right at them. And, of course, there's Los Angeles. They're looking to turn it around down at the bottom of the conference now.
You know, for Los Angeles, they've fallen all too quickly down to that spot at the bottom of the standings. If any team needed a bright start, it was them.
You're so right. I mean, some of the league's better teams can overcome a bumpy start and make a big push, but this team, not one of them.
Now, that's how you pick up second chance points. Stay active and be ready as soon as the shot goes up.
Clarkson kicks to Kobe. World peace on the wing. And Thompson sends it back. Now here's Boozer. He's been patient so far. Nothing yet on the scoreboard. Screen by Grant. Over to the wing. Here's Roten. They get it again. Another shot. And it's Meta World Peace with the foul.
That's his first personal foul.
Screen by Boozer. Tries again. uses the glass to drop it in. And the 76ers lead by 3.
And no doubt the Lakers had some defensive issues last season. I mean, no true center on that roster. And at times, they were just feasted upon on the inside.
Philadelphia has gone 1 of 3 from beyond the arc so far in the game. To the middle, the 10-footer. The shot, no good. And it's the Lakers the other way. Defeated by the Pacers in their last game, they'll try to put that one behind them.
Yeah, they just really struggled to put points on the board throughout that game. You could just see they were pressing, just couldn't get anything to go on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and guys, once they got spiraling downward, there seemed to be no way to get out of it. All their offense went to pot.
76ers shooting 33% here in the first quarter. Now the dish to Roten. Here's Grant. Lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that, Grant's got his second bucket of the game to go. So timeout called here, the first for Los Angeles.
And a lot of teams are looking for coaches that embrace analytics and look at data-driven approaches. Coach Scott is not one of those guys. He's an old-school coach who goes with his own perception.
Robert Sacre, he's checked in for the Lakers. Brown comes in for Meta World Peace. Kobe's gotten 2 of his 3 shots to go tonight. Now the pass to Holmes. Screen by Boozer. Here's the screen, and he was camped in the lane there, and he gets the 3-second call. And former Coach of the Year Byron Scott now with the Lakers, and as you said, Greg, he's not an analytics guy. And Clark, I think he's a guy that the eye test for him is huge.
Yeah, he feels a lot. Terrific communicator and storyteller. Great experience as a player and as a champion. And I think that all is evident in his coaching style.
Lakers shooting their first free throws of the game right now.
And taking a look at their free throw statistics on the season, right around 74%.
Well, the plan has been obvious now, Clark, for a while. The 76ers really loading up on young players, letting them see a lot of minutes, and we're hoping it's going to bear some fruit, as you like to say, coming up.
Exactly, and it will in time because they've accumulated some really nice young talent, Kevin.
Now here's Thompson. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. And there's the whistle. Fouled hard on the shot. He'll go to the line. It's going to be on Kobe Bryant.
And with the 76ers, it's not just on the floor that they have stifled the progress. That they've taken 2 top picks knowing they would sit out a full year just to rehab injuries.
That's good from Boozer.
You know, one thing few people talk about with the Sixers, this plan of building through the draft and with young players, what if it actually works to their benefit? Then it would become a copycat strategy because we know in the NBA, it's a herd mentality if something works.
Now, here's Clarkson. 32 seconds left in the first quarter. Marshall gets the bucket.
You know, that's a case there, Kevin, of him making a pass to a spot, and then he let his teammate run right into it. Well executed.
There's the pick. Here's Clarkson. Bounces high off the rim and drops.
How about the screen that frees him up, though, for the jumper?
The 76ers lead it. Marshall with it. Lets it go from deep. That's good. Marshall's got his second bucket of the night. And so the first quarter is in the books. Philadelphia ahead. They lead by 4. And the second quarter will be on the way when we come back. And Kobe Bryant dealing with the wear and tear of decades in the league.